might be live. Yeah, it just said I was live. Hey, hello everybody. I'm Elen Sentier, for those of you who don't know me, and one of the authors of Moon Books, and I write all sorts of weird stuff. I write about and teach following the deer paths. It's the old ways of Britain, and it's how I was brought up. So not many people teach this. There are a few, but not that many who teach it. So it came, this is a good idea. And then the gods and my guides and the rest of it all sort of said, yeah, we need another aspect of this. We need another face of this. So this is what I do. And Trevor, is our editor, gorgeous bloke, said, we need to have a MoonCon. We need to have a lot of you authors doing an online webinar type thing like this, partly because nobody's seen anybody for ages because of COVID, and partly because it feels good. So I hope you're enjoying MoonCon so far. I've noticed there's quite a lot of really interesting and very different stuff already been on and coming on later. So what do? I said I write and I teach. And the old ways of Britain are alive, and they have been alive forever. But most of us look sort of like me. I mean, you pass me in the supermarket and you wouldn't think, oh, she's a witch, she's a shaman, or anything like that. And most of us do. And we've learned that over certainly the last 2,000 years, and possibly even before. Just be. Just be. You don't have to shout about it. You don't have to dress up. You don't have to look weird. Just be. And that's what a lot of it is about. Now, I've been told to wave books, so consider me about to wave books. This is the main one. Can I do this? No, let's do it that way around. This is, holding something up to the camera like this is worse than trying to back your car. And I'm not very good at that either. But I do what is called following the deer trods. And this book talks about it. This book actually is very practical. This one gives you some very basic exercises and guides and things to do. But if you really want to know more about what I do and where I come from, go for this one. Because this is about my own experiences through life and from childhood. And that will tell you lots more about me. So, as I said, I was brought up to it. My dad and dad's family have been doing this forever. My mum and my mum's family were doing this. And my mother's mother, what's that? My grandmother. I can't do this. My grandmother was a witch from the Isle of Man. And she married this bloke in Hull who worked on the docks at the time. This is sort of way back in the last century, right at the beginning of the last century. And he had a bit of Romany. And so it's all been entwined. Dad's family had been in it, Mum's family had been in it. And then they moved, and, Mum and Dad, and they got me, and they moved into places and started. And I learned all right from the very beginning that, it was okay to talk to fairies. There were fairies in the garden. Oh, what did they say? How does it go? So I was brought up in that kind of an atmosphere where everything was okay. And then Mum died. Mum had cervical cancer, and she died when I was 3.5. So I didn't know Mum for very long. I know her now, later, but not then. And then we moved because Dad had to go to work, and we moved to Dartmoor. And I was brought up by Auntie Mary and in her family. Now, they were all deep into it. I mean, Uncle Jack was amazing. He could go out in the field and just hold up his fist like this and do nothing. And then within a minute or two, a wild hawk would be on his fist. And he taught me not how to do that, but how to talk to owls and to call owls so that they come down close to you. And I can still do it. And he'd sit there, and an adder, our only poisonous snake, would come and just crawl up his hand and then twine round his wrist, and the two of them would sit there happily. And he knew all about trees, and he taught me trees and things like that. And then we moved up to Exmoor. And there, again, the people around me were all into this. And my mum was dead, and we had a woman come to look after me and to look after the house. And she and Dad fell in love. It was really lovely, gorgeous. And so when I was about 8, they got married. And I'd, of course, already known her family who lived in the village and, had done for centuries, generations. And her sister owned the house that had the village sacred well in the garden. And it was actually built into the wall of our garden. So it was sort of part of us as well. So I really got into that and learning all about what it was truly about. And her husband, Uncle Perce, was the sort of person who talked to plants and all this kind of thing. So I was really deeply into it. And there was that old lady next door who was the village healer and midwife. And there was Granny down the bakery who did all the stuff about working with the dead and things like that. And people actually used all the seasons. And even our vicar at that time, he was a really great bloke. He'd been a padre in the Navy and gone down, his ship had gone down under him a couple of times in the Second World War. So he knew a lot about living life and everything. And he and Dad really got on. So they used to talk all the old stuff. And he wrote a history of the well and how it happened and its story. So this was all around me all the time. So unlike a lot of people, I'm not coming to it as a grown-up. I came to it as a kiddie. This was normal. I then had to learn to hide it all and be normal in the ordinary world. So that's a bit about me. Now, I thought rather than actually talk to you just about what following the deer trods is like, I'd give you a little video, one I made myself. And so I'm going to share a screen with you now. And let's see if we can look at this little video. And there we go. Should come up any minute now. Let's just see how this goes. Well, hope you enjoyed that. It tells you a bit about us. We're very, very old, the old ways in this country. Thousands, in fact, it definitely goes back 1,000,000 years. Archaeologists have found this. And interestingly, I don't know whether anybody's noticed it, it actually has now, they've found paintings, drawings, cave carvings on a cave, on the roof of a tomb, inside, in Scotland. So we're just finding more and more and more. It's growing, the knowledge of who we are and what we are. And gradually it's coming to light that we can learn this. And this is what I write about. This is what I teach. And I teach mostly online, but we also, when we can, which of course hasn't been for the past year really, we have meetings here at my home in Shropshire. And this is the sort of place that I live in. So let's just give you a little share of this and see what we've got. Hang on a mo while I get this thing, because there we go. And this is what I look at over my garden gate every morning. And that's my cat. Needless to say, black. Obviously, I am a magical worker. Therefore, a black cat is compulsory. It isn't actually. I always have cats because I'm a cat person. But don't have to be black. In fact, she's the second black one I had. And my very first cat, when I was about 1.5, 2, when Mum was still alive, he was a big black cat too, and very magical, very magical. It's actually a funny little story about him, and shows you a bit about how I was brought up, because he came to us first as a kitten, and Dad sort of brought him in, showed me and Mum, and I was like, oh, kitten, you know. And Dad said, well, what's his name? So I said, he's Tweenypuss, because he comes from in between. And I didn't know where I was. 1.5, 2. I was just about managing to say probably about 2. And I said, he's called Tweenypuss because he comes from in between. And now looking back on that, it sort of actually makes me shiver slightly that, yes, I didn't know like I know now, like we all do when we're grown up. And yet I did. And I'm sure Dad and Mum realised that. I mean, I know Dad did, because later we talked, you know, when I was growing up, and they said, oh yeah, we got it. So that's where, when we can have meetings, that's one of the places we go. But let's keep this going a little bit and see if we can. I feel there should be a place of moving to the next picture easily, but there doesn't seem to be, so we will just do it anyway. I would like to sort of, I know what I should have done. I should have done like a sort of a PowerPointy type presentation. But one of the places that I go to journey and meditate is this one. So let's see, is it coming up? Now I can get here just out of my back door and walk along the lane. And so I take the students there. It's a hollow, a dingle, as we call it. And it used to be an old quarry. So it sort of goes down and deep. But now it's all grown over, and there's a pool down here. This is actually a pool. It's got a lot of reeds in it, but it's actually a pool. So there's water in there as well. And it's a great place to just go and sit and do group work and journeying, and we really enjoy that. So that's one of the places that we go for that. And let's see what else we can give you to have a little look at, because it's quite fun. I really wish I could just sort of whiz through this and do lots of them. So we also go out to places as well, and we've got a stone circle not very far away from here, so about half an hour's drive, and this is it. Now, this is the marker stone, a sort of an outer stone that is a focus point for the energy of the circle. The circle itself is down here, and that's my friend who was there that day with me. Way up, it's about 1,500 foot high, on the top of the hill there. Very beautiful, and another great place where we go and we work and we do group work there, and we do individual, we go out as a pack in a sense, but everybody goes and does their own meditation as well as doing group meditation there, which is one of the ways that I teach. So that's absolutely lovely. And we've also got amazing other places to go, and this is one that absolutely stuns me. And are we going to share this? Let's see if we can manage to do the sharing of this, because I really love this place. It's not hard work for most people to go to, but it is for me because I can't do walking as well as I used to be able to do. But let's see how you've got this there. It's called Light Spout, that waterfall, and wow, it's not terribly tall, but it is very beautiful, and it had been raining, so it was doing really good stuff here, and we were really getting all the foam. And you sit up here, and if you can climb, you can go and sit up there, which I can't do. And it's just marvelous just to be there, and you've got the roaring of the water, and you can really journey with water there, and with all the ondines and the elementals and the spirits who work with it as well. So we're pretty lucky with that. And what else have we got that is fun that we do? So let's see what we've got. And oh yes, well, the mountain with the cat that I was showing you just now. Now, from my front door, I can actually look right up, if I got good enough eyesight, exactly where that cave is. And it's on the top of the Caradoc. Well, not quite on the top, it's on the side that faces me, and it faces absolutely to my front door, which I didn't realise when we first came here, but I thought we must be fairly close. And then when I first went up to it, it was like, oh, because the Caradoc to me relates very much to Gwynap Nuth, the antlered god, the wild hunt god, who also has his human carrier from legend, or from stories, not a legend, Wild Edric, who was a real Saxon lord who actually fought William the Conqueror, and he beat him for a while, but eventually he just got squashed and had to say yes. And the Caradoc is about Gwynap Nuth, the antlered god, who is also a soul catcher and a helper for you to travel across worlds. He's also protector with his pack of white hounds with the red ears and the red eyes, and one of the very old deep spirits of this land, who I find I work a lot with, and my students find they work a lot with him too. So actually living under one of his mountains is absolutely stunning for me, as you can imagine. Now, I'm just going to show you this, because this is the other way round of it. And my view when I first went up there, which was quite stunning. And I've lost it again. Come on, where are you? I know you're in there somewhere. No, it's not in there. I don't seem to have it. So never mind, but we can go on from there anyway. So as well, another place that we do go to, and we have a lot of them around this part of the world, in this part of South Shropshire, that is Bury Ditches. An amazing place. As you can see, it has 3 levels. It's huge, and you come in and you can walk all the way around it and come up onto the top. And on the top, which is not in the centre, which happens a lot for us, there is like a real sort of viewing place. Now, these hills around here. These are all the hills where I live. This is south of me. So I live sort of in between there somewhere. And the views are absolutely stunning. So you can see why people used it. And they're called hill forts, but they're not forts. You know, they're mountains and high places where we can go to journey and to be with the gods. And this is what people did. Now, one of the things that I'd like to do with you is to help you go on a little journey now to see how you feel about working with these old gods and how you like to be walking up the mountain and being with the mountain and actually journeying with the spirit of the mountain. Mountains are very important to us. And this journey has stops on the way, usually 3. And at the first stop, you leave behind everything you own. The clothes, everything you own. You just say, I'm leaving that. I am putting that burden down and I'm walking forward. And then at the next stop, you leave time behind so that you don't have time pressure anymore. You say, I'm leaving time behind. I am in the now, always in the now. And then at the third stop, you leave all your fears behind. You just say, I am shedding them. I am letting them go, and I will go on to the top of the mountain. And so you do. And then you carry on up to the very top. And you arrive at the top, you're naked. You're naked soul-wise, you're naked spirit-wise, you're naked physically-wise. You've left everything that you were behind. You are now open and yourself. And the 9 women come and sing you and fill you full of fire. And they burn you out into being your true self and then bring you back in at the top of the mountain. And you're still there and you're fine. And it is just the most beautiful feeling ever. And then you'll become more you than you were before you started the journey. And the 9 women, the shadow women, they dance you down the mountain again as you follow the streams that flow down the mountain to water and give life to all the valley below. So, shall we do that? Shall we go on this journey? The music is by Wardruna, not British, but their northern tradition has a lot of similarities. And this Healing Mountain one, which is one of theirs, which is the song he's singing, is so much this journey that I've always done. And so I thought, let's use it. And keep your eyes open if you wish to, because the video is beautiful. And I find it easy to journey just following him, watching as he goes up the mountain. And just as good as shutting your eyes as to the music. So let's try this. Let's see if I can do this for you. And let's go for it. And have a good... Hello again. I was gone. I always am. I find mountains and water and all the elements so strong. That's what I teach about. That's what we do on the apprenticeship and on the advanced course, is we become with them, part of them, learn to know them, learn to ask them, learn to speak with them and listen to them. I find that is one of the pieces of music that takes me there. And I know a little bit about them, and they mean it. It means it to the heart when they sing, as working with it does to me. And this is what I do. This is what I offer. This is what the apprenticeship is about being with all of that in your own way. And that's the other thing. You haven't got to do it like me. I don't want to produce clones of me. God preserve us. You find your own path. Each of us finds our own path with the deer trods. We follow the deer trods, yes, and there are very basic things that we all know and we all come together and do, but we find our own path. And that's what I teach, and that's what I write about. I don't just write how-to books either. I've written 2 novels. This is the only one I've got a copy of at the moment. But this is about a woman who finds her path to the labyrinth, through the moon, and who works her own way with this. There's also romance in it, love and fear and terror and all of the things that are part of that, and joy. And that's what walking the deer paths is. It is joy, but it is everything else as well. It is being part of everything. This is what our old ways are about. So if you feel like doing it, get on the website. I think that's going to come up. Deertrods.com will get you there, because it's obviously following the deer trods. It has its Facebook page as well. So it'd be lovely to have you. Applications are very welcome. There are some places left. And as well as that, there is also a load of shorter, easier courses on Deer Trods Tribe on the website. And do come. I think Our Lady Ellen wants as many of us to come as possible. And this is Our Lady Ellen, the Dear Lady, the Dear Goddess, Ellen of the Ways. So it's been lovely to be with you. If there are any questions, that'd be great. And I think we're doing fine otherwise. So if there are any questions, do put them up. Are there any specific things I do on a daily basis? Yes, there are. And it's actually on the Deer Trods Tribe website. I do a thing which we call the Earth Sun, which is connecting yourself to the heart of Mother Earth and to the heart of Father Sun. And I do that every single day and more than once. And once you get the hang of it, it's very easy. You've done it. It takes practice to get there. You need to keep on doing it. And it grounds you, it centers you, it takes everything out of your face. It gives you perspective. I do it before I go into a meeting as well. I did it before I started this because, okay, yeah, I've done a lot of Zooms, but every time it's like, I'm not going to make a mess of this, am I? And so you center yourself with that. There are other practices too, but that one is the total and utter essential that we start with, go through and end with. So, any other questions? Thank you, Mary Elizabeth. As I said, if you want to know more, get on the Deer Trods Tribe website, and that's the one. She's got it. And thank you, Rachel. And yeah, get on there and have a look around. The applications for the apprenticeship are on there, as well as all the courses and some advanced courses. And there's going to be a new advanced course in Lammas, Hunting the White Stag, which I am doing and writing at the moment, which is going to be fun. It's about finding yourself. And if you've done any Zen and you know the 10 ox herding pictures, it has a lot of similarities with that, but not quite the same. I did that 40 odd years ago, 35, 40 years ago, with my transpersonal tutor. And when we did it, and I just went, like this. And she went, why? And I said, we do something like this, only we call it hunting the white stag. And she hadn't known that. So it was a bit of a and talking about it together. So Otherworld just said, how's about you do this for the students, for anybody who wants to have it? So I'll be doing that for them. And otherwise, that's me. Do go and buy my books. I want the royalties. No, hopefully you'd enjoy them. And do continue to enjoy MoonCon, because there is so much and it's so different, all of it. So carry on enjoying it. So I don't think I've got anything else to say to you. If nobody else got any more questions for me, I shall leave you in pieces. And I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. And quite possibly you will want to, even if you're going straight on to the next course. But we have given you a bit of time in between. So you do have comfort breaks, as they say, in between all of our talks. So hope to see you on Dear Trods, on the Facebook page, on the website, anywhere else. Oh, and if you want to come and talk with me or hear me and listen and chit chat on Monday evenings on Facebook Live at 6 o'clock in the evening, British time, I'm doing a chit chat for 3/4 of an hour to an hour, depending on how it goes. So see you there. Bye-bye, everybody. Great to be here.